does it with kids nowadays?
Hi, Lousy kids. This is a reaction video for the Superfriends from 1973. I am bringing in a special guest to comment with me. You will see why when we see this episode. This is Kevin Kobasic from Kevie Metal Studios. He is a comic book artist. I really wanted to get your input here, and you're going to see why.
Okay.
This episode, nobody talks about it, and
Okay.
it is freaky. What they're talking, because again, this is 1973. This is 51 years ago,
Right.
at a time when computers were the size of a wall. Nobody had an idea of a desktop computer. Of course, TVs were a heavy tube. I imagine there's kids out there nowadays who don't even know that TVs weren't anything but flat.
They're flat, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, carrying a big tube TV is a big thing. I'm explaining this in advance. You'll see why.
Okay.
I have seen this episode once through. I did do a reaction video that didn't record right, so I wanted to get somebody else who hasn't seen it to watch it with me. And here we go. Video in. There we go.
What's going to happen? What am I in for? What could this be?
The original with Marvin and Wendy. Do you remember watching this in the 70s?
Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Man, I haven't done forever. Wow, it's so wild to see again.
The announcer is Ted Knight.
I was just thinking about that. I remember hearing that. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this since Caddyshack.
Wendy, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Why did you have to mention Caddyshack? Yes, that is the bad guy from Caddyshack doing the narration on here. Yeah, so he did the announcing in this season only. And if you're trying to watch this, by the way, for anybody who's interested in seeing this, they did this for the 1973 season with Marvin, Wendy, and Wonder Dog. And it didn't quite click. These way too long episodes. They had Marvin and Wendy weren't really a big hit. So you have Marvin, who's kind of egotistical and boastful and goofy. And then you have this girl who's kind of arrogant and always right and always correcting him and rolling her eyes at him. Mm-hmm. And then you have their pet, who's kind of a clown and gets into trouble. Okay. And they replaced them for 1976 onward, because they didn't do Super Friends for 3 years. Huh. And then they have all new Super Friends. So if you're trying to look this up, it's confusing because there's 2 season 1s. And then they do season 1, volume 1, season 1, volume 2, and then all new Super Friends season 1 and season 2. So if you're trying to make sense of which one is which, you're wanting to get these, I should explain that this is in the original, they actually have the Flash and Green Arrow in some episodes. Huh. They go for some other characters. So those appear on the cover. So if you're looking for which one do you want the one that has Flash or Green Arrow on the box set cover. So then they replaced this. They started 1976. That's with the Wonder Twins instead of Marvin and Wendy. And so you have the boy who is boastful and arrogant and overconfident, and you have a girl who's kind of superior and rolls her eyes and corrects him at all his antics. Mm-hmm. And then you have a funny animal pet who gets into a lot of clowny nonsense.
So you're saying they're just the same characters?
The exact same characters, except that they have more obvious superpowers. Marvin has superpowers, but it's not really obvious. So.
But he's less like, he's obviously being a goof in this. Like they made him a little more legit.
And we're going to see that.
All right.
Talks. He's the one who's, we talk about, things being woke now, but it's like, the woman has to be perfect and the guy has to be a goofball, even in 1973.
Right.
At an Air Force base, a brave pilot is about to test a new experimental plane.
No, the animation is very primitive.
Captain, you'd rather not. Someone's got to do it, Colonel. Wish me luck. What in blazes?
It's so fake.
I don't know.
It's so fake.
There's nobody in here. This plane flew the test all by itself.
Look at that! No one's driving that forklift.
Try another emergency channel. Wow! That tractor's plowing the field all by itself.
I'm Mr. Huggins, Special Assistant to the President.
Mr. Huggins.
Okay, he's a special assistant to the president. Make note of that.
Okay.
So he's just an assistant. And so he's kind of a government stand-in for this episode. By the way, that that tractor that looks like a tank, the forklift, which they didn't go out and get a forklift, they didn't draw a forklift, they made up a forklift. They fake everything. You realize that plane, it's like it's like, I imagine it kind of looks like this.
Yeah,
That's
fine. It says plain to me. Why not?
Yeah.
We can guess why you're here, Mr. Huggins. Weird things are happening. Machines operating by themselves.
Yes, so far no harm has been done. But who knows what might happen? The government would like the Justice League to investigate these strange happenings.
That's exactly why we're here, sir.
As for you kids, please stay out of trouble.
Trouble is my business.
I see business is booming.
See what I say about snarky?
Yep.
Holy phantoms! This car has a mind of its own. Calling Superman. Emergency.
Having trouble, friends?
Yes.
Don't stand on the leather,
Something's taken
Superman.
control of the Batmobile. It's steering itself. You can
He's
stop
making himself
Superman.
really comfortable.
Yes, but I don't think we should. It's my guess. This'll take us right to the source of the mystery.
Why would he think that?
Yeah.
It could be
Whoever
programmed
sent
to
for
drive
us
them into a
uses
brick wall.
robots to drive his property.
That's the biggest
Look
building
how
I've ever
comfortable he
seen.
quickly gets. He's like, yeah, I'm Superman. Nothing can hurt me.
Geek.
Yeah.
Put my
What does
feet up.
that stand for?
I don't know, Robin, but I've a hunch we'll soon find out.
Outside
Professor
the hall of the
Goodfellow's
Justice
Funmobile.
League, a strange vehicle makes its appearance.
Strange? No driver.
Permit me to
Where's Professor Goodfeellow?
invitation for you to take a ride in the Funmobile.
Where's that voice coming from?
I don't know. Who was driving this thing?
It drives by itself. But don't be afraid. It's perfectly safe.
Who are you?
Professor Goodfeellow, please step inside. The
Get in my
Funmobile
creepy
will take you to
van!
Superfriends. Please step in.
What's in there?
All sorts of fun things. Television, movies, rock albums, games.
There's
Anything to eat?
candy!
There's candy.
Everything
There's
you
yeah.
like. Ice cream, candy,
wrestling
popcorn,
videos.
There's candy!
peanuts. Please come in.
No thanks.
But I have something
Stranger
of great
danger.
interest to you.
Well, you lead the way. We'll follow.
On our bicycles.
Smart.
Okay. It's 1973. I don't know. Is stranger danger a major thing? And I mean, are they
No.
trying to teach us to not get into vans?
I mean, I guess there was an awareness of it, right? It didn't. It was. I don't think it was really a moral panic at that point.
Yeah.
That was later.
And this is before they required that Super Friends be educational, which is why they're major overhauled and they always have a lesson in the middle and all that sort of stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't. It's so weird. Get inside the creepy van.
Yeah.
I have candy. It's just booming over a megaphone.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a decade before Jacob Wetterling and all the, this is back when you could ride around on bikes and nobody cared. You just had to be back at a certain time. And then that all went away most stranger abductions are very rare compared to, most abductions are like the other non-custodial parent, is grabbing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there's only like a few hundred like stranger abductions a year or something like that.
Yeah. Not that you shouldn't be, have some awareness. And it's good that they say we'll follow you on our bikes.
Yeah, I feel like they did. There was an awareness of like if some stranger offers you candy, like don't take it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was that, but it wasn't like the panic that it became later, like in the 90s. We're not even there yet. We've already got Tesla full self-driving. What more could there be?
Right. You're kind of getting there with what this episode is about.
Obviously, we're at Professor Goodfellow's lab. Well, let's go. The Super Friends are waiting for us inside.
We'll find out soon, I'm sure. Just relax, kids.
Walls aren't coming down, but the floor is.
Holy letdowns! This floor is an elevator.
Just relax, everybody.
What is Robin's voice?
Welcome. I'm Professor
It's Casey
Goodfeellow.
Kasem, isn't it?
It's an honor to meet you all. Please
That's Casey
accept my
Kasem.
apologies for the little pranks I played today.
Pranks is hardly the word, Professor. You've got the whole country in a turmoil.
The government is very concerned about your little pranks.
I had to do those things to prove to the government that the G.E.E.C works.
The G.E.E.C? What is that?
Aha, the world's biggest computer. I want to donate it to the government as a gift for the benefit of all people.
Yeah, that is.
What does this computer do?
By remote control, the G.E.E.C can perform every job that is done by men and women. My purpose is to free mankind of all physical labor, brain work, and responsibility. You mean no one would have to do any work? That's impossible. No, that's why I brought you here, to show you it is not impossible. Please.
Professor, why do you call it the G.E.E.C?
Yeah, they're not
Its
impressive.
full
I see
name
what
is
they
Goodfellow's Effort Eliminating Computer. G.E.E.C, G.E.E.C.
Effort eliminating computer.
Effort eliminating computer. Yeah.
That's excellent.
There it is, gentlemen. The G.E.E.C. This control bank operates all types of transportation. Everything from bicycle to spacecraft. Communications. Telephones, television, everything. The G.E.E.C is programmed to handle all business matters.
Fantastic.
These controls can run every factory machine in the land. No need for factory workers. Wow.
Farming, eh? I guess the G.E.E.C will run the tractors and let the farmers take a rest.
They deserve it. Since the beginning of time, men and women have had to work hard every day to survive. But now, with the G.E.E.C in control, nobody will have to work. Not even housewives.
What will people
Not even
Oh my god. Yeah.
lowest of the low. Even the housewives won't have to work.
Yeah, we can't have that. They might start getting ideas.
Who's going to be changing the diapers and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff?
Wow.
Yeah. So you're kind of getting. This is why I had to have you see this because for those who don't know, one of Kevin's hobby horses of late is talking about artificial intelligence and the people being put out of business, like comic book artists.
Like,
when you just,
animation artists. Yeah, exactly. Comic artists, yeah.
And so here we go. This is and just as an example, one of the ways that Kevin and I got to know each other is I needed a piece of art for a missing back page on my comic book, and he did an amazing turnaround in a very short time. And nowadays, I would probably just go to Google and type in need, person with 4 arms in a hospital hallway and make that. But I wouldn't dare.
Of course.
I wouldn't dare sell it or boast about it or boast about the quality of it like I do with yours,
Why, just sit home in their G.E.E.C-built houses, eat G.E.E.C-prepared meals, and spend the whole day watching movies and sporting events on their G.E.E.C television sets.
But that means actors and athletes will still have to do their jobs.
No. The actors and athletes won't be real people. They'll be electronic images programmed to go through the motions of a play or a variety show or an athletic event.
Hey, imagine Joe Namath can sit at home and watch himself playing a football game that he never really played.
Yes, exactly. No one will have to wear himself out doing a job of work. The G.E.E.C will do it all.
Of course, sporting events, that'd be no fun. You have no proof that anybody's actually better than anybody else. That would be like,
exactly. No, there's still going to be that. Yeah.
But that's exactly what actors are afraid of. That we'll just scan you and get a recording of your voice, and you don't have to make the movies. We'll make the movies with you in them.
I know.
Isn't that great, Grand Moff Tarkin? There you go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do wonder about that. If you could have an AI like headline a movie, I mean, like background actors, that's definitely going.
Of course, going back to Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, used. What's his name? I should have prepared.
Oh, yeah.
The great actor, the great Shakespearean actor who'd been dead for decades.
Was it Olivier?
Laurence Olivier was the bad guy long after he was dead, which of course fit in the movie because the villain was also dead too.
Right.
Yeah. But of course I had no idea. I mean, Olivier is way before my time.
Right.
I have no reference for him or I don't know how many people look at that and even go, "Oh, that's Olivier come to life." It's just, they're doing it for dead people now.
Didn't Bruce Willis just submit to that because he can't act anymore?
Yeah, I think he did. That's right. He's making ads in Japan or something like that.
Wow.
And it's not really him. It's just his capture. So
can I just
Go
Can I
ahead.
just say how much I admire the work, the amazing amount of work that was done on those hands on the female character's hips. Like
Wendy's hips.
those are just Wendy things. Those are just masterpieces. But that actually does look AI generated.
I
Fingers
think
are so weird and
AI generated would probably be more proportional, right?
yeah.
Every child will receive school lessons at home on his Geek TV. There'll be no
Oh my gosh, it's the COVID lockdowns.
Yeah.
50 years
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Jesus, this is amazing.
Yes.
need for schools or teachers.
No schools?
No teachers?
Wow, groovy!
Greatly impressed.
You know something, though? Even if I complain sometimes about homework,
just
I
flips
really
and comes
enjoy
right back up.
school. I'm gonna miss going to classes, being with my school friends.
Gentlemen, I think Wendy has just made a very important observation. She has shown us the basic fault of the geek. I know you mean well, Professor, but your computer can be a bad thing for people.
That's right. Everybody, even young kids, should have responsibilities.
I agree. It's good for people to work, to use their brains. If they don't, they'll have no purpose in life.
The government must accept my gift. It'll be the greatest thing that ever happened to mankind.
Professor, I'm afraid I agree with the Super Friends. The government will not involve itself in Project Geek.
All right, then. I'll offer free geek service to the public. Anyone who wants to subscribe can have himself a permanent coffee break. And you can't stop me.
No, we can't. It's not against the law.
Nothing can go wrong with the geek. Good day, gentlemen.
By the way, did you notice that the advisor for the president has just single-handedly decided that the USA will not be doing this?
Yes. Yeah. I think he's out over his skis a little bit there.
Yeah, but I assume that he's pretty sure of what response he'll get when he takes it back to the proper people to decide this. But yeah,
I love how he's just like he's special advisor. They didn't even. He's just like the guy who is the government.
Yeah, and I need to mention something that you raised earlier that I hadn't even thought about, as we're talking about the work involved here, like animators who can barely animate on this show.
God,
I mean, this is very limited animation. The elevator in the background is just like dragged behind it, and
oh my God, man! What
really,
these guys got away with is just amazing.
It really looks like I must go. My home planet needs me, and then they just yank out the cell.
Did you even notice when the elevator hit the top, the background,
Yeah.
They didn't even they just so totally didn't care. And then I was laughing at when the little cart that they're all on just goes off screen for a half a second and just comes back flipped.
I love that establishing shot. It's beautiful.
Free geek service to anyone who wants it.
Goodfellow made that announcement a month ago.
And since that time, most of the people have subscribed to Geek service.
It's a serious situation. The geek has completely changed the lifestyle of the world.
Even the fact that it's a subscription model is
Look
pressure.
out the window at what used to be
Yes,
a
it
busy
is.
downtown street.
Although it's free.
Nephew.
Yeah.
Where is everyone?
Men don't have to go to
Oh,
their
it's a free
jobs
subscription.
anymore.
I see. Okay.
Women don't have to go shopping. The good old geek
Women
takes care
don't
of
have to go
everything. Whatever they need at home is delivered by these geek trucks.
Amazon
No
trucks.
driver.
That
Yeah.
truck is carrying supplies to a factory, an automated factory.
Well, I'm glad I didn't sign up. The geek people do nothing but lie around and take it easy. Their muscles are getting soft.
Right, and their minds are getting weak.
Speaking of that, I think I'll go over to Marvin's house and see if I can tear him away from his lazy geek world.
She's
If
so
you'd like,
catty.
Wendy, Robin and I
Yeah.
will drive you there in the Batmobile. Hey, Wendy, you're not a geek subscriber. Why aren't you in school today?
That's why. No point in keeping it open. Most of the kids are at home, getting their lessons on Geek TV. It's Geek Automated. Watch the air hose. Everything works by itself. Slim Smith doesn't even show up anymore.
Everybody's watching TV outside.
Marvin, darling, what are you doing out there?
I'm mowing the lawn, Mom.
That's a good boy.
Do you notice we have robot lawnmowers now and robot
Yeah, right.
vacuums?
Right.
And- And we don't have TVs outside, but we take screens everywhere we go.
Screens.
So
Yeah.
everywhere they go, people are taking screens so they can watch stuff because there's
Yeah.
nothing to do but watch things. It's like in that way, it is oddly right about what would happen.
I mean, it's so prescient. You know what I was just thinking too is
Yeah.
even even calling it geek, like I don't think that word was meant what it means now in the 1970s. I don't
Right.
like the whole idea of like a computer geek. I don't think was with us at that point. Like
No,
it's
it would.
even picking that name is weirdly prescient.
Hi, Marvin. Doing your schoolwork?
Oh, hi, Wendy. No, my next class doesn't come on until 2 o'clock. Math. Ugh. I hope this movie will be over before then.
Hey, I've got a super groovy idea. Let's all go for a walk in the park.
A walk? You mean, like, really walk?
Yes, the exercise will do you good.
Yeah, I do. I do notice though that everybody wants to sit around and watch videos when they're supposed to be at school, and nobody wants to hang out, and nobody wants to go out for a walk. Which is, I mean, that has greatly changed in our society. They've had stats on the way that hanging out with friends and going outside has just plummeted over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be. I mean, this is so prescient.
Yeah, it's crazy actually.
Even the things that I don't think they wanted to say, I think it's saying more than they intended to say. I mean, it just so much of it is accurate.
Boat Lake up ahead. Rowboats for rent. By the hour. Terrific! Let's take out a rowboat.
Must we?
Sure. Don't worry, Super Marv. I'll do all the rowing. I want to get some exercise anyhow. This is dumb. It's no fun if you can't do your own rowing.
I have to say, I remember seeing this episode when I was 3.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years old. I remember seeing this. Even at the time, I didn't pick up on the computer thing, I saw them. I saw the thing rowing, and I was just like, the animation is so cheap. I said this at 3. I was like, why? They couldn't even show his arms doing this. They had to just have it rowing. It looks so bad. And I didn't pick up on the fact that it's supposed to be doing that because of the rope.
You didn't understand it was a self-driving boat?
Right. I just saw I mean, I don't know that I thought that the animation was cheap, but even then I knew good animation from bad animation. And
right.
Looks like they're in for a rainstorm upstate. Great Scott! That plane's going to fly into the storm cloud. Could be dangerous. I'd better lift it above the storm cloud. Well, what do you know? No question about it. The Geek has everything under control.
I must admit it's a fantastic machine.
I think it's a terrible machine. Well, gee, most of the geek people are getting lazy and sluggish. They're becoming vegetables, like plants on a windowsill. They just sit there and wait for the geek to feed them and take care of them.
Wendy's right. They don't have to use their brains for anything. It even seems that originality, initiative, and ambition have gone out of style.
Right. Nobody's got any get up and go.
The only thing we can hope for is that they'll grow tired of the geek life.
Come visit me and I'll show you why. And bring your young friends. Goodbye.
he really wants the young friends to be there.
Yeah.
Please excuse me. It's my lunch hour. We can talk while I fix myself a snack. A cheese sandwich would be nice.
He has 4 choices. Ham, cheese, soda, ice cream.
I mean, I could live on that.
I do love the sound effects.
Professor,
I was gonna say all these
suppose
classic
someone
sound
does manage
effects.
to sneak into the big computer room.
Oh, they wouldn't get far. Come, I'll show you my super security room. Holy psychedelics! What a machine! It's like this all the way through. 200 feet long, 200 feet wide, and 200 feet high.
Do you realize that's kind of based on Forbidden Planet? So it's kind of inspired by that. I'm guessing just a little bit.
Inspired.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, we'll just take that line.
The Krell had been applying their entire racial energies to a new project, one which they actually seemed to hope might somehow free them once and for all from any dependence on physical instrumentalities.
civilization without instrumentalities?
Incredible.
This is the
I know that
replacement
cheese
warning
sandwich is going to be
panel for
important.
this section.
Yeah.
Watch. So you see, my friends, nothing can go wrong. Ever.
There's that sandwich sitting there, dude.
It's Chekhov's cheese sandwich.
It would seem so. But Robin, there's always the unexpected.
See
Something
it
no one
next one.
anticipates.
Like the old saying, the unexpected can affect the best laid schemes of mice and men.
Oh. Of mice and men.
Oh, the symbolism is just too much.
12 plus 3 equal 15.
Look at that sky. What?
Isn't Marvin supposed to be like 14 years old? He's doing 12 plus 3.
It's like it's doing like LLM
We've got
hallucinations.
to get word to the professor that his computer is all discombobulated.
Here comes a taxi. I'll flag it down.
Why is his head so small all of a sudden? I have to say, I think that the geek could do better animation.
You push a button so that a hand can come out and go and do this. That's awesome.
Take us to the Geek Factory. Please, we're in a hurry.
Like, oh, I'd love to raise my finger for that taxi. It's so much work. Where's the time?
Yeah.
That
There's still
computer
all these
never
heart
misses.
switches and vacuum
Amazing.
tubes, you know.
Great Scott! It's going to hit that smokestack! Whew. That smokestack would have fallen right on the new power plant. Great Scott! They're all out of control! No time to lose! Up, up, and away!
I have to just give a bit of praise. I've been ragging on this thing quite a bit. The guy who does Superman really sells the Great Scott and up and away, and it works. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a good choice. I don't know what the name is of that actor, but that's what I always hear in my head when I hear Superman saying Great Scott. It's just he makes it work for a saying that people don't ordinarily say, but I figure he's just raised that way. He's raised in the Midwest. People don't swear, as much, at least if they've got strict parents, and so he uses Great Scott just the same way most people would use a real swear word, So
Right.
it's always worked for me. But some people think it's corny, and I'm like, he sells it. It works. So
Yikes! Everything's going wild.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Roomba.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? We're tailgating a vacuum cleaner.
In the North Atlantic, a giant oil tanker unwittingly sails into a restricted sea lane. Luckily, Aquaman becomes aware of the danger.
I forgot they had a narrator.
If he doesn't save the tanker, the sea for miles around will be polluted by thousands of gallons of crude oil.
Why don't we go there and turn it off ourselves?
Right, chum. To the Batmobile.
There's that angle.
Yeah. Why is he angled like that?
Guard, you'll have to open the gate. I'll take full responsibility. We've got to get through that gate.
Let's climb it.
Uh-oh, something new has been added. Look.
Oh no, he turned on the sign.
We'll just have to think of another way.
Why don't we call Superman? Nothing can stop him, not even a force field.
No, Robin. This is a job we've got to handle ourselves.
I love this
Superman's
music.
too busy preventing disasters.
Just in time. Another few seconds and the ship would have crashed. Oh no! That train, it's going to cross the bridge at the same time the freighter passes under it. The geek is really messing things up. This'll need fast action. I'll return these later, after the emergency is over. That should do it.
The train cars are rounded.
No, they're not.
They're making an awfully sharp curve.
No,
This is
you
probably the busiest day of my life.
you were just imagining things.
And if their arms can't reach more than 20 feet high, we've got it made.
This is always one of my favorite things.
This is back when she couldn't fly.
Right. It sticks in my head that they would always do this signal with a circle
Well,
on
here
the
comes
rope.
old Rust Bucket. Uh-oh, more company.
Well.
Good show, Wonder Woman.
I'll say that rope slide reminded me of my circus act.
We'd better move before the other guards come after us.
Robin always trying to bring up his old Disney circus.
No.
Ah, the Geek satellite. Okay, Aquaman, stand by for splashdown. Ah, a meteor, just what I need. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch. A home run.
And as the satellite plunges into the ocean, Aquaman takes up where Superman left off.
All yours, Hammerhead Sharks. Break it open.
Ouch! Their eyes are at the end of those.
Awesome.
It's so terrible.
I don't know what caused the trouble.
There's your troublemaker. There's a mouse in the electronic booster chamber. Cute little thing.
Oh my, the only way we can get him out of there is through a narrow tube, and it's 10 feet long.
Well, I know someone who can reach that mouse. Plastic Man.
You're right.
What?
Flash with
Plastic Man.
What?
This narrow tube curves this way and that, Plastic Man. In and around the machinery. Do you think you could reach the mouse?
That's not the problem. I don't want to hurt the mouse. Superman, will you watch with your X-ray vision and tell me when my hand is near it?
You're in the booster chamber. Move forward slowly, a little to the right. Poor thing's scared. He's in the corner.
That mouse is like from a different show.
A remarkable animal. All by himself, he turned the world upside down.
And it's still upside down. Everyone out. Wonder Woman and I have a job to do. With lightning speed, we've got to set all these controls back to normal.
Finished. Now let's bring the world back.
That was it.
Aquaman,
That was it.
everything
That
is
stood in
okay.
for
Turn the geek
fixing the
on for
entire
10
computer.
minutes.
It didn't even bother to animate their hands like flipping switches as they're
Yeah.
flying along. It's animation's so cheap. By the way, what do you think of just pulling Plastic Man out of nowhere as a member of the Superfriends when they need him? It's like, no, you got to use the people you have, not just access the entire DCU at any point.
It's amazing.
But, yeah, I actually liked it, but you never see Plastic Man again. I don't think. I think this is the only episode where you see him.
He just shows up as a plot device. Like, they don't even try to justify it by like him. He's there at the Hall of Justice at the beginning. I mean, just at least show Plastic Man hanging out with them at the beginning.
Yeah. It's weird to suddenly resort to him, and then he's gone. He's not even there for the wrap up. So here we go.
They didn't even try.
Super Friends, you were right. I must admit that geek life was pretty dull. I like it better the other way, when the streets were full of interesting people, all busy going to work, shopping, building things.
That's right, Professor. Human beings can't be happy unless they have something to do.
This is what I'm saying.
Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
We learned that a lot of geek families were beginning to get on each other's nerves. They were bored.
Me too. You know, I miss going to school.
I think it's better that children go to school, a real school. Education is more than
He always
just
looks like she's
memorizing
being like
facts and
sliding or
figures.
something.
Real education is learning how to get along with people and how to use your brains and abilities to accomplish things by yourself, to contribute something to society, to your fellow man. I'm going to dismantle the geek into many small units.
The government will be very happy to receive that news, Professor.
Later that day, Wendy
This guy is the
prepared a
most powerful
sumptuous
person in the
luncheon to
world.
celebrate
Yeah.
Professor Goodfellow's good
He's
fellowship.
secretly in charge of the
And now,
entire
Wendy,
government,
about
all the
that
governments in the
buffet
world.
lunch you prepared.
Huh? The table's moving by itself.
What?
Professor, you told us you turned off the geek for good.
Oh my
Well,
God!
I did.
This is terrible. Oh, it was the dog.
Wonder Dog.
How about Wonder Geek?
That was amazing.
Okay, here's the voices, and Ted Knight is the only one. Well, Frank Welker is still called Franklin Welker. Wow.
Who's Frank Welker?
Frank Welker is the voice. He is the voice of, I want to say, of Scooby-Doo. He does like every. He did the voice of Spock screaming in Star Trek 3. He is oddly enough like the most. If you try doing like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
He is in everything. Like, he's connected to every actor because he does animal voices. He does the voice of Fred on Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
And
okay.
yeah, so his voice is everywhere. And but he's called Franklin. This must be at the start of his career. And Casey Kasem. So those two are, Scooby-Doo alumni or will be. I forget.
Right.
I think Scooby-Doo predates this. Yeah, and I have no idea who does which voices, but yeah, I can't really say anything bad about the guys doing the voices. They're great. And the narrator, it's kind of weird. The narrator disappears except for like a couple times, and then Ted Knight suddenly appears. And,
Yeah. Basically, when like they had to, there was something they just absolutely didn't want to animate.
Right. that's basically it. It's a cheat. Yeah.
Like the narrator of Last Resort.
Yeah, and the narrator that we are used to, meanwhile back at the Hall of Justice, that guy is a different guy than Ted Knight, but he's kind of inspired by Ted Knight.
Was that a different voice?
It's a different voice when they come back in 3 years. Yeah, Ted Knight is only in this season.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant in that scene. It was a different guy.
Oh no, I just meant in the other shows after 73.
Okay.
So, and I just want to look through the credits one more time. Hoyt Curtin is the music guy, and I really wanted to have like an album of all the music from Superfriends, except I realized that it's just music cues. There's like little, here's the happy moment, and here's the and, and the main theme, and so it's like here's terror music, and here's happy music, and then you just mix and match. There's no real soundtrack for an episode. But there was an album for another one he did, which was Johnny Quest, and it was just all the music cues. It may be only 30 seconds or a minute of music, but oh man, I love the music from this show.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Alex Toth. I didn't know that.
Alex Toth did the designs for all the characters on here. And then
it's really works so well, even though you have Julia Shorts. Even though even though you have like incompetence actually animating them, that's why the designs still work.
Yeah. And Nelson Bridwell did the adaptations. I think he did the comic books that were based on the Super Friends.
Okay.
So yeah, and
I know that name.
And then Carmine Infantino and Julia Schwartz, of course, are big wigs at DC. So, I'm not sure what involvement they had as consultants, but obviously not to suggest Elongated Man. Carmine Infantino created him, but nope, Plastic Man. We'll just pull Plastic Man out for a few seconds. So anyway, so that's it. Well, let's go back to here and just finish up. It's so prescient.
It's weird. It's really weird.
And you think about all the things that we kind of see nowadays. AI has only really been as a user tool that the general public uses like in the last year or two, and yet you already have there's been TikToks out there of students saying, what did people do before they had Chat GPT? And they're just copying every question from their quiz into Chat GPT, taking the answer out of that and pasting it in. It's like, you're not learning anything. How do you overcome this with students trying to teach them, and you got to get them to not use the computer?
Yeah. I mean, this is the argument every day on art, Twitter or whatever. Is artists trying to explain to people that there's no point to this if you're not actually doing it yourself, and the computer's just spitting it out for you, and nobody, if you're not like a hardcore artist, you don't really get that. But
with Disney, Film Threat has been covering the last movie they did, Wish, with what they call the D files, and the movie Wish kind of came and went. It was
I heard it was terrible.
And it was done in I want to say 4 months, 4 to 6 months. Disney movies take 4 years usually, and you can't tell me
you're not telling me it was produced in 4 months.
That's what I heard, is that this movie was made in 4 months.
What?
And they had to be using a whole bunch of computer cheats, which would explain why, it looks so bad,
Yeah.
and yet it looks finished. It's CGI, it's done, but it's
Yeah.
like everything is not done with the intelligence that goes with
Right.
animation of Disney animation quality. And
Wow. So like maybe they're kind of piloting this stuff already. I mean, I think I actually read a review where somebody said like, "Oh, this is what would happen if you try to get ChatGPT to write a Disney movie." But like, I don't think they had any idea that that might actually be the case.
yeah, I don't know about the writing, but certainly the animation, I mean, to be done that
Wow.
fast, they might be doing a lot of I'm not saying they pasted it into a standard user program, but
Right.
they may be using AI on a developmental level.
Right. Just for
Uh,
the more tedious stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean, given the in-betweening is very boring.
Right.
I'm back when they did in-betweening, but whatever, the more,
Whatever the modern equivalent is. Yeah.
yeah, the more
No, it makes
tedious
sense. So
computer
like
involvement. Yeah.
we still do it's still the same workflow in a lot of ways. Like we still do keyframing and
Yeah.
then somebody comes along and, and fills the motions in. It's just a different process.
Well, you look at those rooms of animation, just the cubicles going on into it's like 20
Yeah.
miles, 20 miles of
Yes.
cubicles
Yes.
of animators
Yes.
working on every movie. And,
Exactly.
if you can cut half of those people out, you still got animation and, head animators and lead animators and everything. But if it takes, 100 people instead of 400 people to animate,
Yes.
it's still an art.
And it's
But
it's only the next iteration of like what we already do because the animation already gets farmed out to Korea or Canada or
Mhm.
something, just to
Right.
save a few bucks.
Yeah, it's weird when you hear the narration of the people from Simpsons talking about, we did this and then we sent it off to Korea to see
Right.
what we get back.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't know what you're getting back in terms of,
Exactly. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, we don't like on the show I'm on, we usually place a studio in Canada that handles like a million shows, but like it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing. We we do the storyboards and the audio and everything, and then it just gets shipped off and yeah,
yeah.
it comes back
And
finished.
then you look at the Super Friends and the limited animation
Yeah.
where they all stand still and the background kind of moves past and they don't say anything and the lips aren't
Amazing.
at all synchronized, and it's like,
God.
what could they have done with AI to help fill
Yeah.
in,
You
keep
know,
the hands moving and
it
stuff like
actually
that?
made me want to go the other way because like the animation is so limited. I was like, how long would it actually take me to make a Super Friends episode? I bet I could do it. I feel like
Yeah,
if I had nothing else to do, I could do it in like a week.
yeah. It's
I
yeah.
could create all the assets in probably a couple days, I'm thinking.
I'm going to be doing a lot more of these Super Friends reactions, but this one, the plot just blew my mind. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm looking at it. I'm like, these guys had, gigantic computers and no idea about how we would be just staring at screens everywhere we go. But they kind of did that with TVs. They have a TV out in the yard. They have a
Right.
TV in the front yard,
Right.
and yeah,
The only difference is it's not handheld. And of
right,
course they're already trying to, you know, they're already trying to move us to like having a headset. But
yeah,
it really like God, I hate to like I hate to sit here and act like this Super Friends episode made me really
right,
think big thoughts, but it did make me think about how, if you had gone into if you had whatever, if you'd been in a coma for a couple of years and you came out during COVID, how shocking it would have been because everybody's at home. Or if you'd been a time traveler from like before and after the era of smartphones
hmm,
and or like even leaving aside the AI thing. I mean, if you were a time traveler from the 70s to now, how like terrifying and shocking it would be. Just
yeah.
just how different humanity is. Anyway, all right. I
When
mean, that sounds very pretentious to me. I'm
No,
just
it doesn't. It doesn't. And you realize that we didn't even have the iPod until like 2007. The iPhone came out 2008, somewhere right
yeah,
around there.
yeah.
And how much that has changed our lives just since then. When I was trying to develop my comic book Metro Med,
Mhm.
I was trying to design a tablet. We didn't have tablets.
Mm,
I was coming up with how a tablet would work, and I
mm,
was trying to come up with
mm,
basically what we now call a Zoom call,
mm.
of how
Right.
these doctors interact with other doctors, and you'd have to have little windows. I'm trying to figure this out
Mm,
because it doesn't exist back then,
right.
and it's like it's too bad I didn't get to like publish it as a series because people would have been going, look, he had that in
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
is the guy. This guy saw it all.
I had
Him
it
and
all.
him and whoever wrote that Superfriends episode.
Yeah. I also had a cute teenage vampire that all the girls fall in love with years before years before the Twilight series.
Damn. You didn't know there was millions of dollars in that idea.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with stuff that a few years later all exists, and yet these guys had this in 1973. What I think is the best part, though, is that they go, "We don't like this world. Hit undo, and we'll go back to the way it was."
I guess that's what I'm trying to get at is if you had if everything that happened, like let's say over the last 20 years, happened overnight, we all would have been horrified by it. Maybe we would have said like, no, immediately trash all this. If it hadn't happened in little increments, we probably would have rejected it en masse.
Yeah, if you could show the parents, hey, the kids will just lay around. They won't even have friends. They won't even know how to have a conversation with their friends without doing it through a tablet in front of them or a little pad in front of them. There's so many ways that if we saw society, like you say, if we just jumped ahead and saw what society is like, we'd go, undo. We're going to design it better, because it's this world that he makes has no way to. It's like, how do you pay for your food? He's like, everybody's going to have a home built by the geek. Where's your home and who builds it? And when you've gone from a scarcity society to a society that has enough for everybody, which is like what Star Trek, eventually has, it's like, how do you have an economy that works then? He has put no thought into this. There's still going to have to be, it's like, well, the computer will do all the teaching, and the computer will do all the acting, and the computer will do all the writing, and the computer will do all the sports. And it's like, what are people going to do? He hasn't put any thought into this. And it's a one-person example of what we have engineered without, how will we make this work when you have all the McDonald's is a robot because you've priced the, you've priced the beginning job way too high. You can't justify, having a snot-nosed teenager doing the burgers for 25, 30 an hour. It's like, well, we can have a robot do it. And, and everybody just puts in the order in the app, and there will be no smiling person at the front taking your order. And if there is a smiling person, he's telling you how to put it into your computer, which we have that now. It's like, I went to a McDonald's down in Oklahoma. I'd been there to visit my niece, and they had this, really nice person working the front. And I went back a year later to visit again, and now they had a person saying, "Go put it in the tablet." And I'm like, "Can I just tell you my order?" "No, you have to put it in there." I'm like, and there's nobody smiling, and nobody. It's like, this isn't McDonald's. McDonald's is where they have nice, friendly people, but no, it doesn't pay for itself, and everybody's got self checkout, and everybody has. What'll happen when the robots just arrange all the cans and bring in all the boxes? There's nobody working in your store.
It's gonna it just starts to feel creepy. But like it all happens so slowly. We just gave it up by inches.
Right.
Instead of
there's no geek computer we can go hit the switch on.
Yes, exactly.
Starting in 2024, franchisees will get a chance to test the company's fresh AI chatbot, according to the chain, which announced on Monday. If no laws are passed, then AI is going to replace easily 80 to 90% of all the jobs on the planet. Like, that will happen. It will happen rapidly within the next 20 years, okay? Now the would-be drive-through worker can become a poet or a philosopher or, go be a painter. Is there any evidence that on the whole, human beings will take all that free time where they don't need to do anything and use it to pursue worthwhile pursuits? No. What do? We spend 10 hours a day staring at screens. That's what we do. That's what people do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kevin, for joining me on this. You can see why I wanted you here for this, because I'm like, boy, of all the shows, it's like
that's amazing, man. That was amazing.
It's like there should just be a big Google logo on the side of that building. Really.
Yeah. I mean, even Geek, Google, it's not even that far off.
It really isn't.
Somebody on this show was a time traveler. I have to believe that.
Must be. Thank you so much. And
thanks so much, Michael.
Yeah, I'm going to do another reaction video very soon. Until then,
Get off my lawn.
bye, you lousy kids.